I was 9 months pregnant, carrying groceries up 3 flights of stairs while my husband played video games. What he said next changed everything. I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but here we are. At the time, I was 9 months pregnant, huge, exhausted, and barely able to bend over without losing my breath. My ankles were swollen, my back felt like it was breaking, and every little step felt like climbing a mountain. But that day, I had to climb an actual mountain, 3 flights of stairs, carrying groceries by myself, while my husband, the man I thought loved me, sat on the couch with a controller in his hands. The moment it all broke. I remember gripping the railing so tightly that my knuckles went white. My arms shook as I tried not to drop the bags. I was sweating, out of breath, and praying I wouldn't slip. When I finally stumbled into our apartment and set everything down, I thought maybe, just maybe, he'd get up and help. Instead, he barely glanced away from his game. Then, in front of his friends who were sitting around drinking beer and laughing, he sneered. "You're honestly getting disgusting to look at. You better lose that weight fast after the baby, or I'll find someone who actually takes care of herself." His friends roared with laughter. One of them even said, "Bro, savage," as if he'd just told a good joke. And me? I smiled. I forced myself to smile so they wouldn't see how shattered I was inside. But something in me broke at that exact moment. My quiet decision. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't throw a tantrum or demand an apology. I just went into the bedroom, sat down on the bed, and thought, I can't do this anymore. I had tolerated his laziness, his selfishness, his constant gaming, and even his subtle insults before. But that sentence, the one about how I was disgusting, hit me like a truck. I was literally carrying his child, destroying my body to bring our baby into this world, and he had the audacity to humiliate me in front of his friends? I knew then that my life with him was over. The plan. The next morning, I quietly started packing small things into bags. Important documents, baby clothes, essentials. I didn't want to alert him, so I moved carefully, like a thief in my own home. I called my sister, explained everything, and she told me to come stay with her. She didn't even hesitate. For 2 days, I acted normal. I cooked dinner, did laundry, kept smiling. He didn't notice anything was wrong, he was too busy screaming at his video games. And then, on the 3rd day, while he was out with his friends, I left. The 72 hours that followed. By the time he came home, the apartment was half empty. My clothes, the baby's things, my important belongings, all gone. Only his mess remained. That's when the calls started. At first, he was angry. "Where the hell are you? What are you doing? You're insane if you think you can just leave." Then, when I didn't answer, the tone changed. "Baby, I didn't mean it. It was just a joke. You know I love you." By hour 24, the voicemails were full of desperation. By hour 48, he was crying. He said he couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, that he needed me. By hour 72, he was calling nonstop, begging me to come home, promising he'd change, swearing he'd be the husband and father I deserved. But I didn't pick up. Not once. Where I am now. I'm sitting in my sister's guest room as I write this, surrounded by love and support. She makes me tea, rubs my swollen feet, and tells me I'm not crazy for leaving. For the first time in years, I feel safe. I don't know exactly what the future holds. But I do know this, I will not raise my child in a home where their father thinks it's funny to mock the woman carrying his baby. His words will forever echo in my mind, "You're disgusting. Lose the weight or I'll find someone else." And my answer to that is clear, good luck finding someone else. Because you'll never find me again. For everyone asking, yes, I'm filing for divorce. My family is helping me with everything, including legal support. And no, he doesn't know where I am. By the time he realizes it's truly over, I'll be long gone. He showed up at the hospital. It's been about 2 weeks since I left my husband, and so much has happened that I don't even know where to begin. If part 1 sounded dramatic, buckle up, because part 2 is where things really spiraled. The calls didn't stop. After I left, his calls and texts didn't just fade away. If anything, they became more obsessive. My phone buzzed at all hours of the night. Voicemails went from angry and insulting to pitiful and begging, then back to rage again. Here are just a few of the gems he left me. You're ruining our family. Stop being dramatic and come home. You're actually evil. You're going to keep my baby from me? You'll regret this. Please, please, I'll do anything. I'll quit gaming, I'll get a job, I'll rub your feet every day. Just come back. If you think you can live without me, good luck. No one else will ever want you. I didn't reply to a single one. Labor came early. A week later, my worst fear happened. I went into labor earlier than expected. My sister rushed me to the hospital. Between the contractions, the pain, and the fear, I barely remember anything except her holding my hand, whispering, "You're strong, you've got this." It was terrifying, but also empowering. When I finally heard my baby cry, I burst into tears. Every ounce of pain was worth it. I was a mother now. And in that moment, I promised myself that I would give this child a life filled with love, not cruelty. And then, he showed up. Somehow, he found out. I still don't know how, maybe through one of his friends, maybe from checking the hospitals near our old apartment. But the day after I gave birth, I woke up in the hospital bed to find him standing in the doorway. My heart dropped. He looked awful, messy hair, dark circles under his eyes, like he hadn't slept in days. But his eyes lit up when he saw me holding the baby. "Babe," he whispered, stepping closer, "look at her, she's perfect. We made this. Please, let's fix this. I'll be different, I swear." I clutched the baby tighter. My sister immediately stepped between us and said, "You need to leave. Now." But he didn't. He kept talking. I was an idiot, okay? The guys were over, I was trying to act cool. I didn't mean what I said. "You know I love you. You know I'd never really leave you." I stared at him, exhausted, drained, and absolutely done. My response. I told him, "You already left me the moment you opened your mouth. You left me when you watched me carry groceries 9 months pregnant and laughed. You left me every time you chose a video game over being a husband. Don't come here and act like this is some fairy tale where you get a second chance." He looked shocked, like he couldn't believe I'd talk back. Then he said, "So that's it? You're just going to raise my kid without me?" And I answered, "No. I'm going to raise my child without you. Because you've never acted like a father." The silence after that was deafening. He tried to argue, but my sister threatened to call security. Eventually, he stormed out, slamming the door so hard the baby started crying. The aftermath. He's been blowing up my phone even worse since that day. Half the messages are, "I love you, please come home." The other half are, "You'll regret this. I'll take you to court." That's my kid too. My lawyer says he might have some rights, but the fact that he's unemployed, has no stability, and already showed aggression works against him. For now, everything is in my favor. But emotionally? It's still so hard. Part of me mourns the man I thought I married. The one who, in the beginning, held my hair back when I had morning sickness, who kissed my belly and whispered to the baby before bed. But the truth is, that man disappeared long before I left. Maybe he never really existed. My baby, my strength. Every time I look at my daughter, I feel both fragile and unbreakable at the same time. She's tiny, helpless, and completely dependent on me, but she's also the reason I've found this strength I didn't know I had. When I left, people said, "You're so brave." But I didn't feel brave. I felt scared, lost, and unsure if I was doing the right thing. Now, holding her, I know I made the only choice I could. She deserves a mom who refuses to settle for being treated like trash. What comes next? I'm moving forward. My sister has already set up a small nursery in her guest room. My parents are coming to help next week. And I've started looking into jobs I can do from home once my maternity leave ends. As for him? He keeps calling. He keeps threatening, begging, bargaining. But every time my phone lights up with his name, I look at my baby's face and remind myself, I already chose. I choose her. I choose us. And no matter what he does, that will never change. A lot of people asked if I'm pressing for full custody. Yes, I've already spoken to a lawyer, and I'm filing paperwork to protect my daughter and myself. And to those who say I'll regret leaving him, let me make this clear, the only regret I have is not walking away sooner. The custody battle. I thought leaving him, giving birth, and facing him at the hospital would be the hardest parts of this story. I was wrong. Because what came next was a storm I never expected, the custody battle. The legal papers. 2 weeks after my daughter and I came home from the hospital, a knock came at my sister's door. When I opened it, a man in a suit handed me an envelope. You've been served. Inside were legal papers. My husband, well, soon-to-be ex, was petitioning for joint custody of our newborn. My heart dropped. Not because I believed he'd win, but because this meant he wasn't going to let go quietly. He wanted to drag me through the mud, force me back into his orbit, and use our baby as a weapon. His case against me. Through my lawyer, I found out what his claims were. Brace yourself, because they were laughable. 1. He claimed I abandoned him without warning. As if 9 months of neglect and insults didn't count as a warning. 2. He accused me of being unstable because I left while pregnant. Apparently, choosing peace equals unstable in his mind. 3. He said I was trying to alienate him from his child. Meanwhile, he hadn't bought a single diaper, bottle, or baby wipe. 4. And the kicker, he told the court I was unfit because I didn't have my own house. I was living with my sister at the time for support. When I read through his evidence, I actually laughed. He attached screenshots of me not answering his calls as proof I was withholding the baby. He even included a picture of me pregnant, sweaty, and tired with grocery bags, trying to prove I wasn't healthy. My lawyer told me, don't worry. He doesn't have a leg to stand on. But still, the thought of going into court terrified me. Court day. The first custody hearing was surreal. He showed up in a wrinkled shirt, hair messy, and eyes bloodshot, like he hadn't stopped gaming long enough to even prepare. Meanwhile, I came with my sister, my parents, and my lawyer. I held my daughter in my arms the entire time. The judge asked him what his plan was for providing for a baby. His answer? I'll figure it out. I mean, my mom can help. The judge raised an eyebrow. Do you have employment? He stuttered. Not currently. Do you have stable housing for an infant? Well, I mean, yeah, but my roommate smokes sometimes, and my lawyer cut in with proof that he was behind on rent, unemployed, and had no financial contributions for prenatal care, delivery, or baby supplies. By the time he finished making a fool of himself, I didn't even feel scared anymore. I felt vindicated. His meltdown. When the judge leaned toward granting me temporary full custody, my ex lost it. He slammed his hand on the table and shouted, "This is bullshit. She's manipulating everyone. She's just fat and bitter because I told her to get in shape." The entire courtroom gasped. The judge banged the gavel and told him to sit down or be removed. My sister squeezed my hand, and I almost burst out laughing, because in that moment, he showed everyone exactly who he really was. The judge's decision. The judge granted me full temporary custody with supervised visitation for him. Meaning, he could only see the baby at a visitation center, with someone watching. The look on his face was priceless. Rage, shock, disbelief. Like the world had finally told him no for the first time in his life. I walked out of that courtroom feeling lighter than I had in months. Life after court. Since then, he's been quieter. Oh, he still sends the occasional angry text, accusing me of ruining his life or stealing his daughter. But the non-stop calls and begging have mostly stopped. He tried to show up once at my sister's house, pounding on the door and demanding to be let in. My dad came outside, stood on the porch, and said, "Leave now, or the police will meet you here in 5 minutes." He left. Finding myself again. It's strange, for so long, I thought my life revolved around him. Even when he was neglectful, even when he was cruel, I kept thinking, maybe if I try harder, he'll love me again. But standing in that courtroom, holding my daughter, and hearing the judge say I was the fit parent, it felt like I was reclaiming myself. I'm not the wife of a gamer who insults me. I'm not the girl carrying groceries up the stairs alone. I'm a mother. I'm a fighter. I'm someone who walked away even when it was terrifying. A new beginning. Now, my days are filled with feedings, diapers, and baby giggles. It's exhausting, yes, but it's a kind of exhaustion that feels purposeful. My daughter smiles at me, and suddenly the whole world makes sense. My sister jokes that she's my co-parent, and honestly, I couldn't have done this without her. My parents have been incredible too, showing up with food, diapers, and love I never knew I'd need this much. As for him? He's fading into the background. Just a bitter, angry voice in voicemails I don't listen to anymore. Because the truth is, I don't need him. My daughter doesn't need him. And someday, when she's old enough, I'll tell her the truth, not to poison her against her father, but to show her that her mother chose strength, respect, and love over cruelty. The next hearing is in 3 months. My lawyer is confident I'll get full custody permanently. And as for me? I'm finally looking forward, not backward. 2 years later, his last attempt. It's been almost 2 years since that nightmare of a custody battle. If you've read parts 1 to 3, you know the chaos, the heartbreak, and the endless drama that came with leaving my ex while 9 months pregnant. I thought things would always feel heavy, like he'd haunt me forever. But now? My life looks nothing like it did back then. A new life. My daughter is 2 years old now, wild curls, big brown eyes, and a personality that fills every room she walks into. She's talking, running, and obsessed with singing songs completely out of tune. I have a job I love, remote work in marketing, that lets me stay home with her most days. With the help of my sister and parents, I've been able to save enough to rent my own little place. It's not huge, but it's ours. A space filled with baby laughter, bedtime stories, and peace. Peace. That's something I never thought I'd have again. What happened to him? After the court granted me full custody, my ex's life went downhill fast. He had supervised visits scheduled, but he missed most of them. Sometimes he wouldn't show up. Other times he'd cancel last minute, blaming me, blaming his car, blaming his mental health. The judge eventually reduced his visitation even further. After about 6 months, he just stopped trying. Friends told me he was still gaming 10+ hours a day, couchsurfing between buddies, drinking too much. Honestly? I stopped caring. He had every chance to step up as a father, and he didn't. That was his choice. His return. But of course, people like him rarely disappear quietly. A few weeks ago, on my daughter's 2nd birthday, he showed up. We were at a park, having a small picnic, me, my sister, my parents, and a couple of friends. My daughter was covered in frosting, giggling as she tried to blow out her candles. And then, out of nowhere, I heard a voice I hadn't heard in months. Wow. So this is what my daughter's life looks like without me? I froze. My sister immediately stepped between us. My dad stood up, already pulling out his phone. He looked thinner, older, and somehow even more bitter. He tried to smile at my daughter, but she didn't recognize him. She just clung to my leg and whispered, "Mommy." That broke something in me. The confrontation. He started with the usual script: you turned her against me, you kept her away, you ruined our family. But this time I didn't let him control the narrative. I said, "No. You ruined this. You had every chance to be here. Every visit, every call, every opportunity to step up. And every single time, you chose not to. Don't you dare show up now, 2 years later, and act like I'm the villain." My sister added, "And if you don't leave, the police will be here in 5 minutes." He tried to argue, raising his voice, but my dad was already dialing. And when my daughter started crying, clutching my shirt like she was scared of him, I think even he realized he'd lost whatever shred of dignity he had left. He muttered something about me being cold-hearted and walked off. The aftermath. That night, I couldn't stop replaying the moment where my daughter clung to me instead of him. It hurt, but it also healed me. Because I realized, she doesn't see him as her safe place. She sees me. He may have contributed biologically, but I'm the one raising her. I'm the one who stayed. I'm the one who loves her unconditionally. And in that moment, I stopped feeling guilty. I stopped second-guessing. I stopped wondering if maybe I was too harsh or too unforgiving. No. I did what I had to do. For her. For us. Moving forward. I don't know if he'll try again, maybe through court, maybe another random stunt. But I do know this: I'm not scared anymore. He doesn't have power over me. My life is mine again. My daughter's life is filled with love, laughter, and stability. And if he ever tries to step in again, she'll know the truth, not because I'll poison her against him, but because his own actions speak louder than anything I could ever say. For now, I'm focusing on us. On bedtime kisses, on morning pancakes, on the little things that make motherhood beautiful. And to my ex, if he's still out there thinking he lost something? He did. He lost me. He lost her. He lost the family he could have had if he had ever treated us like we mattered. But I didn't lose. I gained everything. A lot of people are asking if I'll ever let him back in her life. The truth is, I don't know. If one day, years from now, he's truly changed, maybe. But until then? My job is to protect my daughter. And right now, that means keeping the door shut.